my name is Thomas Meredith, and today I'm going to present to you on a lot of things, but I'll start with my Bible verse and poem. James 1:19, beginning with verse 9. How can a young man keep his way pure? By keeping your word. I have sought you with all my heart. Don't let me wander from your commands. I have treasured your word in my heart, so that I may not sin against you. Lord, may you be praised. Teach me your statutes. With my lips I proclaim all the judgments of your mouth. I rejoice in the way revealed by your decrees, as much as in all riches. I will meditate on your precepts and think about your ways. I will obey your statutes. I will not forget your word. The Sea Wolf by Julie McDougall. The fishermen say, when your catch is done and you're sculling in with the tide, you must take great care that the sea wolf's share is tossed to him overside. They say that the sea wolf rides by day, unseen on the crested waves, and the sea mist rise from his cold green eyes when he comes from his salt sea caves. The fishermen say, when it storms at night and the great seas bellow and roar, that the sea wolf rides on the plunging tides and you can hear his howl at the door. And you must throw open your door at once and fling your catch to the waves, till he drags his share to his cold sea lair, straight down to his salt sea caves. Then the storm shall pass and the still stars shine, in peace, so the fishermen say, but the sea wolf waits by the cold sea gates for the dawn of another day. Give me my posters.
Here it comes again, Dad.
What?
That world map.
Yeah.
Going around the
You know,
block.
originally did not have this, but I said, you know what? I might as well. So, I'm going to be talking about Berlin and the Berlin Wall, and since I could, I thought I might as well just show you where Germany is. So Germany is right here in Europe, and, well, let's get in a large picture of it. Okay, so, after World War II, over here, after World War II, Germany was divided between the USA, the USSR, the UK, and France. Each of these pieces of land were given to those four countries to manage. So the USSR, this is a rough drawing. They actually got, when you look at an actual picture of it, they got more than this. They got probably about a third of the country to manage, and they had East Berlin, and they ruled entirely under a communist government. Communism is when the government owns everything. Berlin, which is right here in the USSR's territory, was also divided among the four countries to manage, and the USSR got the east side of Berlin, while the other side was divided among the USA, the UK, and France. So, the USSR side of both Germany and Berlin, under the communist government, was not doing very well at all. They were living on the streets, didn't have a lot to eat, not much water either. So they were not doing very well at all. And the other side of Berlin and Germany were prospering under capitalist governments. So, around in, I forgot which year, but the USSR put up a blockade blocking all supply routes and water routes to West Berlin. This is not the Berlin Wall yet, but they blocked all supply routes and water pipes, all the supplies that West Berlin needed. They just blocked it all from going in. So you could still go out of West Berlin and everything. They were trying to make West Berlin, the people in West Berlin's lives, miserable. So they did that, and the USA, France, and UK all signed an agreement, and they started a campaign called the Berlin Airlift, in which they sent planes. At the height of it, it was about every 1 to 2 minutes the planes would land into West Berlin with also all the supplies they needed: milk, water, food, toys, I don't know, everything that they needed. So they did that for a while, and the USSR did not shoot the planes down, because if they did, that could cause some serious issues. So after a while, they took down their blockade, and for about a year, there was free passage from West Berlin to East Berlin and East Berlin to West Berlin. And same for Germany. until 1961, on August 13th, 1961, overnight, the Russians built a built the Berlin Wall. It was originally a fence all around West Berlin. It surrounded all of West Berlin, so nobody who was in West Berlin could get out, nobody who was out of West Berlin could get in. They just surrounded the entire thing. It started out as a fence, they eventually turned it into a wall. If you were visiting, your family on the other side of the wall couldn't come back. So that was there until 1989, when Ronald Reagan said, tear down the wall, and so they did. And that's all I have about Berlin. Questions? Yes.
So in the partitioning
Sorry.
of Berlin in particular, was there a theory about that? Did it divide industry equally? Is there some reasoning as to how they partitioned that?
As to how they divided it up,
Uh-huh.
I don't really know. They just all signed an agreement. Russia obviously wanted to control all of Germany, and they did not get to. But I am not sure exactly how it was divided or why they came to this agreement, but they did. T-Rex.
Which year was the Berlin Wall built?
1961. In August 13th, overnight. Yes, Rob.
How many people crossed over the borders of
About 1,000
Berlin
people a
and
day.
Germany?
In between the year where they removed the blockade and they put the Berlin Wall up, during that year there was about 1,000 people a day that went from east to west Berlin. That's kind of sad that they had to build a wall to keep their people.
How did they build it overnight?
They built a fence first. At first it was just a fence,
Okay.
a barbed fence I believe, and then they turned it into a wall with barbed fence on the top of it so that nobody could get across.
And landmines and guards.
Landmines and guards, yeah, there was all sorts of security. Yes, Sam.
Did Germany rule any part of its own country?
Not really. Not for a while. At first it was just managed by them. Yes, but these four countries managed those parts of Berlin. And not anymore. They don't anymore, but they did.
So say I went to visit you, and that night the wall went up, you mean I could never go back home?
Yep, never go back
I
home.
didn't realize that happened.
Yeah, you can never go back home.
Just have to stay with Tom.
And they could do that. We couldn't stop them because the Berlin is in the middle of their part of it. So the other four countries could not stop them from doing that. Any more? I have another picture.
I can't see some stuff because that's in the waist now.
Is this in the way?
Well, you can put it down a little bit lower.
That was too low. Okay, hold on a second.
There you go. This is from Tom.
Yep, Mom is handing out stuff. You can write on them with me as I go along, or however you want. Just
Just a minute.
I guess I'll just have it there. There. So, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about poetry. I took a poetry class in the fall. It was awesome. It was taught by Jonathan Kaiser. He was an amazing teacher. So right here first, I'm just going to, I have some basic things you should learn. These are just definitions of a few things. You can look this if you need them referenced. Rhyming scheme, the order in which words rhyme. Meter, how many syllables are in each line. Tone, the general attitude of the piece. And measure, how many lines are in a verse. So right here, I have 3 different pieces. These are 3 of the many poems I wrote over the course of the thing. I will get a recording of me reading all of them, and I will send them to you if you would like. But, I'm just going to read part of them to you, and, well, I'll read them to you, some of them to you, and then tear them to pieces. Okay. Ode to a Flower on Winter's Day. O flickering flame that dances on, O fire that burns all through the night, O red hot flame that draws a yawn, you slay my fright. O light which banishes the dark, O heat and waves that swarms the air, the quiet noises of thy spark compose a prayer. So, I don't have give me a marker. I need a marker. I don't know why I didn't have that before. Okay. What? Why did it be scissors?
Just something to point with. Here you go.
I need something to write with.
There's markers. Oh, you want markers? Yeah.
I said marker.
I thought you were gonna come.
No. That was not supposed to do that. Sorry. That was an accident. Okay. So, an ode has my ode has 8 meter, so there's 8 syllables per line. And, each line has each verse has 4 lines in it. So the rhyme is a very simple rhyme. You have rhyme A, that just means the first rhyme, and then rhyme B, which is the second rhyme, and then you have rhyme A and rhyme B again. And then you have that repeating throughout the whole thing, except it goes from rhyme A and B to rhyme C and D. The main thing about an ode, though, is it is a descriptive thing. That's the main thing about an ode. It is descriptive. So next, I have a villanelle. This is one of my favorites. You have that in your things. That's why I gave you those, so that you can read them, because that's kind of a lot bit small. I dream weird things when I'm asleep. By me. I dream weird things when I'm asleep, and when I wake, I start to think. I do not know when I'm asleep. I dream of stores so old and cheap, with pears and apples that are pink. I dream weird things when I'm asleep. I dream of chasms wide and deep, and then I'm skating on a rink. I do not know when I'm asleep. I dream of spies that stalk and creep. I dream of metal ore named zinc. I dream weird things when I'm asleep. Do I not know when I'm asleep? So, one of the things you'll notice about villanelle, first thing, it's really weird about it. It has repeating lines. So the first and last line of the first verse repeat. So this is the first line that repeats, and this is the second line that repeats. And the first line that repeats, I dream weird things when I'm asleep, you put that at the second line, at the second verse, end of the second verse. And the second line that repeats, I do not know when I'm asleep, is put on at the end of the third verse. And that repeats again with the fourth and fifth verse, and the very last one has both of them at the end. So that would be 3 in each line, and 4 in the last one, and the meter. Well, I believe the meter is also 8. Oh, sorry. Meter is also 8. The rhyme is very simple as well. It's actually ABA, and then ABA for all of them. So the rhyme's very simple for that. The last one, actually, I would say this one is my favorite, but we'll go ahead and read that. The tortoise, by me. A warm breeze blowing through the trees. A small little tortoise sitting there, with its beak-like mouth and rounded nose, it lays in the grass, quiet and still. Eyes half closed as if asleep, it sits by itself, a silent dog. So, this is the free verse, and the cool thing, and in my opinion, the worst part about a free verse, is that you can literally do whatever you want, however you want. The only thing that you're not allowed to do is rhyme. You can't rhyme. And obviously it has to sound good. You can't just say, Gary does not have hair on the top. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. It's just something random. You can't just something random. It can't be that. So it does not have a rhyme. That is green. Okay. And the meter can be whatever you want as well. So that's the cool thing about a free verse. It's also the thing I hate about a free verse. Any questions? That's all I have for that.
Great job.
Questions? Give me questions, please.
Did you learn about haiku?
I did learn about haiku. I can make one up right now. Would you like me to?
Say it one for us, but then explain what a haiku is.
Okay. That's Earth's Fuzzy, and he's wearing glasses, sitting in a chair. There, that's a haiku. I made that up on the spot. Haiku has 5 syllables, 7 syllables. Sorry, Harry. 5 syllables, and it does not. Personally, you should not make a haiku rhyme. I think you can if you'd like, but I don't think it is necessary. So just 5 syllables, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. Like as I just stated, I just looked at Dad and thought, Dad's hair is fuzzy, and he's wearing glasses, sitting on a chair. That's haiku. Dad's hair is fuzzy. He is sitting on, and he is wearing glasses. That's okay, not exactly, but and he is wearing glasses. Sorry, miscounted. And he sitting in a chair. So that's just 5 syllables, 5 syllables, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables.
I tell
Anyway.
myself.
What?
Dad, you have fuzzy hair and glasses.
So you said you
sitting in a
loved the
chair.
class.
I love the class.
And obviously you're fairly talented at writing.
Yeah, I
Is
wrote
that
a lot of
something-
others. I also
something you intend to continue?
probably I wrote one for Mom's birthday. Hold on, I think I might have it right here. Would you like me? Oh no, wait. Where's it, Sam?
We'll find it.
I know where it is.
Wait.
I'll get it.
Okay, you don't have to get it. You don't have to get it. You don't have to get it. Okay.
Read
You
it
don't have
at
to get it.
dinner.
I might read it to them at dinner. I wrote one for Mom on her birthday. I also wrote during the class. I also wrote a ballad.
You get it.
Another pre-verse. Okay. Do you want me to read this to you? I can.
Sure.
It's another villanelle. It's short. Mom probably does not want me to read this. My mom works hard for us all day. By Thomas Meredith. My mom works hard for us all day, doing laundry load by load, while all we do is sit and play. She bakes us all some soft clay, and gives us books about a toad. My mom works hard for us all day. She cleans our stuff up without pay and pulls the trash cans from the street, while all we do is sit and play. She does her tasks without delay, cleaning dumps in our commodes. Well, my mom works hard for us all day, while all we do is sit and play.
Which is not true, actually. My kids work very hard.
Well, I thought it was true. Right. Any other questions? I don't think I've taken up too much time, but
Why does your mom work hard for you all day?
because she's awesome. That's why.
Good job, Tom.
Yay!